Mind Changers International, changing lives for the better. Our vision is to be a transformative platform that exposes lies and reveals the truth. Mind Changers International, we on a mission, masking the falsehoods with every new edition. We're here to enlighten your mind with this vibration, expose the lies, speaking truth, normal conversations. Mind Changers International, we on a mission, masking the falsehoods.
Welcome back to Mind Changers Podcast. Listen, y'all, we had some technical difficulties. Listen, I left my computer unplugged, man, and it came back to bite us, man. Came back to bite us real bad.
I know that's right.
Yes, sir. So listen, if you're just joining us, listen, we're happy to have you here. Me and Shann already checked in. Like I said, we had technical difficulties. So, Shann, how did your week go, my brother?
It went well, man. It went really well. The weekend was cool. I had a 3-day weekend, so I just kind of rest and relaxed and caught up on a few shows that I've been trying to catch up on. So, man, it was great. I enjoyed myself.
Okay. So, listen, Shann, you're going to handle all of the Facebook, my hand hit that thing. Facebook comments. I don't know what's going on with our platform. Normally, Facebook can chime in and we can see it up here, but Shann is going to watch that. But listen, if you're on YouTube, listen, we welcome your comments. And I know ladies are probably saying, Shann, how can you two guys just be talking about marriage? Well, we've been married long enough to do so. What do you think, brother?
Yeah, we've been married long enough. We know the perils. We know where it goes wrong. We know how it falls off, and we know how it can be good at times. So
yeah, and we've been to obedience school too. So we came out to be some really good pups.
Yeah. I don't know about all that. I don't know about all that. Well, I still struggle at times.
You say you struggle at times?
Yeah, I still struggle at times.
She gonna have to send you back.
I ain't even gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to the audience. I'm not gonna lie to the audience.
She gonna have to send you back to obedience school, buddy. Yeah, but if y'all been following us, we had some really good conversations. Week before last, we had Elder Maya Lockhart on, my nephew. Man, he brought a lot of great information.
Yes, he did.
Then then we had Pastor Stephen Walker on. He did a phenomenal job as well. So today, it's me and Shann. We're rolling solo. So before we, start running off at the mouth, tonight episode is titled Marriage, the Covenant, the Conduct, and the Communication, hosted by me, Lamar, Blakney, and Minister Shann Atkinson. I'm going to give it to you, man.
No. Do not do that. Do not do that. I am not a minister. I'm not a minister.
You are a minister, man. Since we started this podcast, you have been ministering to people for the last year and a half. And my brother, that labels you as a minister.
Okay.
You just had an assignment. Tell us about your assignment you had this week, man, because I was really, really impressed with what you did with those young folks, man. Tell us a little bit about that before we get into this marriage conversation.
Yeah, we were just teaching the kids, man, and just teaching about Christ and teaching about the chaos of life and how we can take that chaos in our life and we can put it together and take all those shattered pieces and put it together, and you just take them to the cross, and the blood of Jesus will absolutely bring all those pieces of chaos together and make them back into a more visible picture of who you are and who you're meant to be.
Didn't I tell y'all he's a minister? Didn't I? Listen, he don't know. I just hit him with the 1-2 punch. I set him up. Shann is a minister at heart.
No. Oh, yeah. Well, okay.
So let's start our segment. Let me ask you something.
Yes.
And this is the audience. Listen. Okay. What if I told you that marriage is way more than just about love? A lot of people says all you need is love. If that would be the case, there'll be no irreconcilable differences. There'll be no divorce court. There'll be no cheating if love is all we need, because you can give love to anything. You can love a cat, a squirrel, a monkey, a fish. Love is like what you say? What love got to do with it? It's a secondhand emotion, right?
That's right.
So, but it's more than a wedding, a ceremony, more than a honeymoon. It's more than matching outfits on social media. Marriage is, Shann, a covenant. It's a covenant. Now, love might get you to the altar, but managing that love nurturing loyalty and walking in true faithfulness, that's what keeps you there.
That's
You know,
true.
love gets you there, but you're gonna need something else to keep you there. And a lot of us were taught how to fall in love, but we were
Okay.
never taught, Shann, how to stay there.
That's
We were
right.
never taught how to stay there or how to handle the weight of covenant when emotion starts to drift away, when it
Okay.
starts to fade away. So today, Shann and I, we breaking all of that down. Listen, this
Right.
is Mind Changers Podcast, and I'm joined once again by my brother in Christ, Minister Shann Atkinson. Put your hands together. So,
Boy, you
uh,
crazy. You
so
crazy.
listen, let me drive us in, okay? So
Okay.
we're diving into marriage. How can I say it? We're diving into marriage reality, what it is
Mhm.
not, how to manage it. I mean, I've been
Mhm.
married 28 years. Shann been married 29 years this month, right?
Yeah. Last
Okay,
month.
so
Yeah, last month.
last month 29 years. So he got us about 6 months because we
Okay.
got married 6 months after him, and you know, how to manage it and how to communicate inside of a marriage. Because I'm gonna tell you, Shann, that has been the most difficult task as a man
Mhm.
communicating with a woman who wants details. You know, we can
Yeah.
give you a one answer response, and we think we gave you the that
Yeah.
answer that just answers all. But a woman, she wants more details. She don't want
Right.
just a simple response. She wants a
Okay.
detailed response. And so we're
Okay.
going to talk about, and while loyalty, love, and faithfulness are not the same thing, we're going to talk about that today. So,
Okay.
Shann, let's get into it. All right, the
Okay.
first segment.
Right. Yeah, the first segment we're going to talk about is what marriage is and what it is not. So, I mean, check this out. Let us just start here. Marriage is not a contract. It's not a piece of paper with a signature. It's a covenant before God. It's not about finding somebody to complete you. It's about coming into that relationship already whole so
Mm,
that you can walk together in agreement. You see, Genesis 2:24 says, "A man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh." So that's just not poetic. That's oneness. That's
that's right.
emotionality. That's spirituality. That's mentality. That's physicality.
Come on now.
Now let's break down it real plain. So we're going to look at what marriage is. It is a God ordained covenant. It is a purpose driven partnership, and it's a space for growth, healing, and building a legacy. Like you just taught,
Hmm.
28 years, 29 years, you're building legacy. Now, what marriage isn't? It's not a title to prove you're successful.
Hey, Shann.
It's not a, yeah.
Hey, Shann. Let's go back. Let's kind of slow it down. Let's go
Okay.
back to because you said something. It is ordained. It is a God ordained
Yeah.
covenant.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
let's spend some time there. Do you mind?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Let's do that.
before we get to what marriage isn't, let's spend some time on what marriage is. Let's have a
Gotcha.
great conversation with the people out there. To just talk about it from our perspective. Listen, we just two
Okay.
guys. We just
Okay.
two out of millions of men, out of thousands of husbands.
Gotcha.
So let's talk about what it is as far as a God ordained covenant. So you want to
Right.
talk about that first, or you want me to go dive in?
Yeah. Well, I mean, with it being a God ordained covenant, I mean, it goes all the way back to the beginning of creation when Adam and Eve were brought together. That was the first marriage. That was the first covenant of bringing them together. And it goes on further as we talked before in many, many other podcasts, is how the marriage covenant is so important that it's the example of Christ and the church,
Hmm.
because it's always spoken as Christ is the husband, the church is the wife, the church is the bride. You know what I'm saying? So it's so important, and the covenant is so important, and that connection is so important that Jesus is the husband of the church. So that is why God, and not only that, that covenant brings stability. That covenant brings spiritual guidance. That covenant brings so much as far as a sustainability when two people are together in order to push forward and be a unit and be a husband and wife. So what do you think about it?
Yeah. Well, I think the same. When I look at covenant, I look at back on how they did it in the Old Testament, how
Mhm.
the shedding of blood and
Mhm.
the two coming together, exchanging robes, exchanging weapons,
Mhm.
because that covenant meant that it was symbolizing marriage, Sean. It meant that you are supposed to die before you break this covenant. And I'm gonna tell
Okay.
y'all, nobody explained that to me as a young
Mhm.
man getting married. You know, I didn't take it serious. I didn't take it serious because I didn't know how serious it was. A
Right.
lot of people out here getting married, Sean, they going down the aisle, everything looking
Mhm.
good. They got to dance, they got their
Mhm.
bridesmaids, but nobody is really giving them the meat of what you're really about to do. You're not
Right.
just making this covenant with this man or this woman, you're making it with a living God who has the
Right.
ability to kill your body and cast your soul into hell. And
Mhm.
so nobody really, Sean, nobody gave it to me like that.
Right.
So it took decades and years before that
Mhm.
hit my mind. And when it did, it
I know.
scared me. When I say it
Okay.
scared me, I'm looking over my shoulder like, oh my God. I I just took this covenant and did a wheelie on it, spit on it, drug it through
Mhm.
the mud, and I didn't
Mhm.
realize that it was so sanctimonious, that it was so sanctified that I made an agreement with the most high God in this relationship. And it wasn't
Gotcha.
about her, it wasn't about me, it was about that commitment I made and that covenant. So
Mhm.
I wanted to talk about that because if you're a new couple out here and you're thinking about getting married, let me tell you,
Mhm.
if you can't forgive the unforgivable, marriage is not for you. Baby, marriage ain't even something you need to deal with. You don't even want that smoke because it will be one of the hardest decisions you've ever
It is.
made in
It
your
is.
life if you
It's
really
definitely the
focus on how powerful the covenant part of it is.
Mhm.
And so, Sean, the second point you had after you said God ordained, what was it? Is it
It is a purpose-driven partnership.
now? I'll start on that.
Yeah,
When you
go ahead.
say purpose driven, you
Mhm.
know, God told Adam it was not good for man to be alone.
Right.
And when I look at a partnership, to me, I see equal. I
Yeah.
don't see one above the other
No.
because if you're
Definitely not.
supposed to be one, how are you two? Right?
Yes. Yes.
And I remember my dad telling me, man, you the man of the house. You whatever she say do, you do it. You tell her
Yeah.
what you gonna do.
Yeah.
And I tried that and
Right.
it didn't work. It
No.
matter of fact, it didn't even come
Does
close
not
to
work.
working.
It won't work.
Cause let me tell you something about a woman, and we both know this. They ain't gotta say nothing.
Mhm.
They can be quiet and it drives. Man don't have the mechanism to deal with their quietness because we want to know what they're thinking. We too anxious. What she think about leaving? She think about staying? Or does she love me anymore? Does she hate me? All those things. It is
Right.
a partnership, and a partnership is something that is joint.
Yes.
It's
That's
joint,
right.
and you work together as a team,
Mhm.
right? And Sean,
Definitely.
we'll deal with the next one that you had. It's a space for growth, healing, and a building legacy. Let's talk about that because I really want us to really dive into this before we get to what marriage is not.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a space for growth. I mean, because when you come together for the first time, you're not gonna be the same person you were 5 years later, 10 years
Hmm.
later, 15 years later. There's always gonna be growth. And in that space for growth, there's situations to where you can grow closer and you can grow apart. And then in those situations, you've got to figure out or find a way to where you can bring it back together. And that happens in so many marriages today,
Hmm.
where you the growth not only grows you together, but it can also grow you apart. And that's where if you both decide that you want to continue to come together and grow together, that's a one of those situations where you really got to work hard at it. And the healing aspect is just each one helping the other in order to become a better person, in order to be that person that you need to be in order to be a good husband or in order to be a good wife. And you talked about earlier about the purpose-driven partnership, where you talk about it's a partnership. It's not one-sided. And
Mm-hmm.
you have a lot of, and just like you said, your father, you have a lot of marriages out there to where it is one-sided, where you have men that are just dominating their wives because they think it's biblical, because they can dominate their wives. They
Mm-hmm.
misconstrued the scripture, and you have some of those relationships out there that are supposed to be godly relationships, where it's very one-sided and very, and if you're that guy out there, you're wrong. You're absolutely being wrong, because you should not be putting your wives down. You should not be using scripture, using the word of God as your
Mm-hmm.
permission to put your wives down. And then that building legacy is building on that foundation, which is marriage, to where you can last the test of time. You can take it out. You can be the example
Mm-hmm.
for everybody around you. And that is, and once you build a legacy, that is the blessing. That is where a lot of people don't make it. A lot of people don't get to that point to where they can see the 30-year mark, or that 40-year mark, or that 50-year mark. And we've seen some marriages that have literally seen that 70-year mark, which is just incredible to me, that
Yeah.
we've actually seen things like that. And that's the end game. That's what you're looking for when you're trying to be married. And it's hard to do. It's not impossible to do, but it's very, very hard to do.
Yeah. And a space for growth, right?
Hmm.
Marriage, when I found out about marriage, Shann, it stretches you. Like you like
It
the
does.
plastic with Fantastic Four, Plastic Man,
Hmm.
it
Hmm.
it will stretch your patience,
It will.
it will stretch your faith,
It
it will
will.
stretch your loyalty,
It
it will
will.
stretch you in ways that you don't know that you could be stretched,
It
right?
will.
And so
I know. I know firsthand.
yeah. And let's talk about the growth part of a marriage, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um I think if most couples can just walk together,
Hmm.
just start off walking together, right? And what I
Hmm.
mean by walking together, I'm being symbolic, right? Walking
Yeah.
together meaning that you're speaking the same language. You
That's
are
right.
understanding. You are, as I said last week, you're studying your partner.
Yes.
You're finding out their likes and their dislikes, right?
Hmm.
The art
Hmm.
of communication, because we communicate with more than just our mouths. We communicate with our body language, with our
Yes.
eyes, with our presence. If I'm outside of your presence a lot, that means I don't want to be around you.
That's right.
And so when we grow together in a marriage, that means we got to let go of some things, right?
That's right.
We got to become this unit that we are one. Like when people see Sean, they should be like, okay, where's Tanisha at?
Okay.
She ain't far. She ain't far away from him. She's not far away from him. Then people start saying y'all start looking alike. I don't know, Sean, you can get that on your end. I hadn't got it on mine
Right.
either, but
Right.
you
Right.
start thinking alike and communicating a lot. So what marriage is, it is not this show. It is not this the honeymoon. It is not the wedding. It is
Right.
beyond that. Like when I see people get married, oh, you in love now. Holla at your boy in 10 years.
Yes.
Holla at me in 15 years if you can make it.
Absolutely.
Holla at me in
Absolutely.
20 years, because I'm telling you, you're going to find out if you're a committed person if you
Right.
could make it past the first 15 years. There's
That's right.
times I woke up, I like, man, I don't even like her. And I'm sure it was times she didn't have to wake up to say she didn't like me. She
That's
just
right.
look, I don't like that joker today, or this week, or
Okay.
this month, or this
Okay.
year.
Okay.
But marriage is what you make it. And I found it out, Sean. You make the marriage. You make the
Right.
trouble,
Hmm.
you make the happiness.
That's right.
It's all about what you bring into that covenant. So, Sean,
Absolutely.
think we can go to the next part, man. What marriage isn't, because you was about to go
Yeah.
there when I asked you. Let's kind of stay in what marriage is for one moment. So let's stay in and let's dig into what marriage isn't, and I'll let you
Okay.
go first.
All right. Well, okay. Well, first of all, marriage isn't a title to prove you're successful. I mean, we see a lot of situations where social convention is to get you married. Uh, get you married to a successful individual, so that you can um, fit yourself into a certain societal norm. And
Mhm.
that is not what marriage is. It's not set up to prove for success. It's not set up to say just because you're married that now you've made it, because that situation is more of like what you call like the arranged situation where you're arranging something. There's all different ways where you can arrange a marriage, and that's another way to arrange a marriage.
Mhm.
Just because you're trying to prove that you're in some sort of successful place in your life to get married. Now, I tell everybody, make sure that you at least have a plan. At least make sure you're going somewhere before you decide to get married. And I'll tell everybody, don't always wait to have everything perfect. Don't wait that just I've got to have this lined up. I've got to have that lined up. If marriage is definitely something that you want,
Yeah.
just have a plan, and just have a place that you plan on going, and make sure that your significant other is also in line with that kind of thinking, in line with that plan of yours, and then you two can push together, because two people pushing into the same direction is a lot more successful than one. And when you have two individuals that care for each other and love for each other and share the same goals and share the same vision for your life,
Mhm.
you can move mountains. You can absolutely move mountains together and get to where it is you want to be. What do you
Yeah.
think about that?
Yeah, I like that, man. It's not a title, and it doesn't
Hmm.
prove you're successful. And marriage is not your friends. You know, Sean, a
Hmm.
lot of marriages break up because the girlfriend is more involved. I'm talking about ladies. If a lady got a
Hmm.
girlfriend, the girlfriend is more involved in the marriage than the husband is. She knows
Okay.
what the wife don't like, and the husband ain't been told yet. The
Okay.
husband friends are more involved in his marriage than his wife is, because his
Okay.
friends know what he's not happy about with her, and neither one of them had a conversation one with another, and if they did, they wasn't honest, right?
I got you.
It wasn't honest. And one thing we've learned: keep
Hmm.
people out of your covenant. I ain't gonna say
Hmm.
marriage, I'm gonna say the word covenant. Keep
Okay.
people out of your covenant, especially your family. Keep them Negroes as far out of your covenant as you possibly can, because they
Okay.
are the cancer. They will become the cancer to your marriage. Now, if you're getting
Okay.
beat up, big knot on your head, okay, now you got to bring some support in. But
Absolutely.
outside of that, keep your
Absolutely.
family out of your marriage, because you didn't get married to them, you got married to each other. And
That's right.
one thing I can say about my wife: she's never involved her family in our business.
Okay.
I've never involved my family in our business. Now, if they
Okay.
found out something, they found out about it, right? But it
Right.
wasn't broadcast. She wasn't calling nobody, telling them this and telling them that. We kept those things. We worked on it with God. We worked on it
Gotcha.
together.
Gotcha.
Indifferent, no matter how it was, we worked on it together. And there were
Okay.
times where family actually tried to come in the midst of it,
And
right?
they will. They will.
Because they doing it out of love. They're not thinking about the marriage. They're
Absolutely.
thinking about their loved one. And they
Absolutely.
have a right to care about their loved one, but they don't
They do.
realize it don't help build anything. It helps tear down.
I got you.
So I think your next point was what's your next point, Sean, on that? What is
A
it? What
next
is not?
point is it's not a cure for being lonely.
Mm,
So I mean, when you're looking at this, absolutely, the pursuit for a mate, whether it be husband or wife,
mhm.
the part of the formula is you do want companionship. You don't want to be lonely anymore. So
Yeah.
I do understand, whereas you don't want to be lonely and you want that companionship, but ultimately it's not the cure for that loneliness. It's not the cure to to do away with that loneliness, because you have to be a unit. You have to be a
Mhm.
loving unit, and you have to understand. Sometimes you've got to know how to be by yourself. There's times when you're in a marriage where you have to know how to be by yourself so that you can appreciate what you have in your marriage. So
Yeah.
don't look at it as for a catch all, for a cure for loneliness, because then you're just using that other spouse as something to fill a hole. And you should never be with an individual when they're going to fill a hole. You really need to have all your ducks in a row when it comes to those situations before you decide to bring another human being into your life, because nobody can complete you. You can only complete yourself. You can only, you are responsible for anything that you're dealing with. Now, you can absolutely open up to your spouse
Mm-hmm.
and you can talk to them about your deficiencies. You can talk to them about the things in your life that you've been working on, and that other person can absolutely help you. But do not expect that person to complete you and make you whole, because that is ultimately your responsibility.
Yes, sir. I agree with that. 100% fold. I agree with that. And you know,
Mm-hmm.
Shann, one thing we hadn't talked about is, you know, why so many marriages break up because of money, right? You know,
Okay.
they make, and it's just coming to my head. I know we don't have it in
Yeah.
our notes, but
Hey, let's talk about it. Let's
yeah,
talk
why
about
is
it.
financing the kryptonite to divorce, right?
Yeah.
The kryptonite to
Mm-hmm.
the marriage. No, nobody wants to be broke, you know,
No.
but at the same time, you know, the vows that these man-made vows we have is, you know,
Yeah.
to death do you part, for richer or for poor. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I believe, and when they do go through that, they only hearing the good things,
Mm-hmm.
richer, and when a man say poor, they don't hear that part. You know,
Right.
why is it that a lot of marriages succumb to financial pitfalls
Mm-hmm.
and use that as a tool to say, I don't want to be with this person no more? Now, I do get if that person is just, you know, how can I put it? They are evading their responsibilities, knowing that
Mm-hmm.
they could bring money and just ain't bringing it in. You get what I mean?
Right.
Versus
I
a
got you.
person that is out trying, like, man, I'm trying to find this job. I'm trying to get this. And this is why you have to choose your mate wisely. It doesn't mean
Mm-hmm.
choose somebody with money, because guess what? A
Right.
person can have money and treat you like a dog, right?
They can.
But
They can.
you supposed to choose this person because you want to be in covenant with them.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm noticing, Shann, is that, and I know I'm taking a curve. When women are the breadwinner
Uh-huh.
by $15,000 or $20,000 more than the man, it's
Okay.
like the man become the least significant person in the relationship, because
Okay.
I'm bringing home the most of the money. I pay most of the bills, you
Okay.
know, and I think society, I can say society, we as a people have allowed society to say, hey, he should be making what you're making. And that don't work in every relationship. Let me
Okay.
tell you something. If Kia made $50,000 more than me, it ain't gonna
Mm-hmm.
change the fact I'm the man of the house. She can
Right.
bark, growl, woof woof. She can do whatever she want to do. I'm still gonna be the man of the house. Now, will I appreciate the fact that, hey, I got something to lay on in the event
Right.
that I fall short? Yes, I'll be
Right.
happy with that. But
Okay.
some men are not happy with that, and then some women are not happy with a man being happy with that. Does
Okay.
that make sense? What I'm saying?
Yeah. I have a different thought on and what it is, how you're approaching this. I definitely have a different thought on that.
Okay.
Um, Now, the thought that I have on that is, as far as we talk about women who make more than the men in the marriage, and that they somehow think more superior or whatever. And I don't know if we have the data to support that specific scenario, to where supposedly women are acting different or acting out in that way, to where, okay, I make more money than you
We
do,
do, Sean.
and
It's it's
now
it's it's
what?
blackgirl.com. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Go ahead.
No, and you're really going down a steep slope on that one. But I think where you see the issue with that is more so maybe single women who make have really good financing, and they're looking for an equal. And they're looking for an equal to meet them there. I think that is definitely happening out there. But I think if they've already in the marriage, if they're already married, and that's it, because if they've already married and she comes in with more money, then they've already dealt with that. That is not an issue. Or if they're married and she somehow, becomes to make more money, um, we have to look at the fact that they're married and they will be able to figure that out. And it shouldn't. And here's the thing. Social convention has always made it to where the man should make more money than the woman, but that's not the case anymore. That's not the case anymore. We can't look at it like that. It's absolutely okay for women to make more than the man. It's where we are in society right now. Women have been, because the only reason that women weren't making more than men is because society made sure that they didn't make more than men. That's the only reason. It wasn't because they weren't capable or didn't have the means to do so. They just were told, you're not going to make more than we are. But now, with all the rights and everything and social convention changing, we have scenarios now where women have always had the ability, but now they have the means to make more than men. And I truly don't think that's an issue inside marriages. I think marriages deal with that and navigate that fine.
Well,
And talking about your situation about being the man of the house, I think that's also an archaic way of looking at things, where you're saying, I'm the man of the house. I truly think that is a very archaic way of looking at things, because that creates division. That creates hierarchy. Now, I understand the Bible says that the husband
we about to get there. We about to get there. Go ahead.
I know the Bible.
Come on
the
with
Bible
me.
says the Bible says the man is the spiritual leader of the house. That's all the Bible says, that you are the spiritual leader. It does not give you hierarchy to where you can actually be a steward or some sort of landlord over your wife. All it says is that you are the high priest of you're the high priest of the marriage. And you and I both know the high priest is always a servant. They're not a king. They're not they're not the leader per se, like a king is. You have always got to be a servant, and in that situation, you have to serve your wife. You have to serve your family. You have to serve your children. So the thinking of I am the man of the house is way too archaic, and we should look at it more as we are the servants. We are the spiritual leaders of our family, and I think by doing that, we'll go a lot farther in our marriages and have more of a loving and understanding and more of a patient marriage.
Yeah, I disagree. And I'm going to tell you what I disagree about it. So if somebody break in the house, Tanisha ain't going to say, okay, Sean, I got this.
Okay.
Sean, protect us.
Right.
If y'all driving and the car gets a flat tire, she's not going to say, well, listen, I'm just a head like you. I'm going to go out here and change this tire. You're going to change the tire, right?
Okay.
So men do have a different role. When it comes to certain things, we have a different role. And the women expect us to be in that role when those things happen. That's where I come with, in my mindset, the head of the house, not the boss. Not the boss. Not the boss, because we're one. When I say the head of the house, meaning that we are problem solvers. We are supposed to fix things. Something breaks, Shann. Something break, Lamar. This ain't going on, Lamar. This ain't going on, Shann. But that's what makes the man the head, not because he's above her. He's just built different to do different things that she can't do. Now, you might have somebody might be married to somebody where the wife was like, listen, boy, sit down, I got this, because he just can't do nothing. Hey, I don't know who that is, and I ain't talking about him, but I'm going to go back to something.
It's out there. It's out there.
To where, and we're going to go back to the money thing, right, Sean? When a woman earns more money than a man, the conversation is totally different when conflict comes. You can leave. I don't need you. That's real. Because guess what? When she's making that kind of money and she don't have to deal with you, she ain't. Now, a man can make that kind of money and still deal with her. A good man. There's some men that will act like that. But a woman, give you another example. Michael, I'm going to say John and Jane, right? Jane is making $20,000 more than John. John lost his job. So John said, you know what? I'm going to stay home and I'm going to take care of the children. And when those women find out that he's a homemaker now, girl, I wouldn't take care of no grown man. Versus, hey, baby, she lost her job. You know what, baby? Stay home, take care of the kids. I'm gonna go work and I'm handling the bills. Girl, you got it made. You see, that there is a difference. There is a difference in the man and the woman in a marriage. And whether we want to admit it or not is a difference. A man is not looked at as the head of his house if he stay home and watch the kids. And trust me, that's a
Right.
tough job. I tell
Right.
anybody, that's a tough occupation. It is an
Right.
occupation, and it is tough to stay home, clean, deal with them hard-headed kids. They're running around. You got to do this. You got to take them there. All the man do, go
Right.
work, come home, go to sleep. She got
There
a
you go.
plate sitting on the table. That is a
Okay.
hard job. But if the roles are reversed,
Mm-hmm.
a man will not get the same respect. He will not get the same respect.
And I see where you're going. I see exactly where you're going. But
Come
we're
on
going to
with
go
it.
back. We're going to go back to your same point.
Mhm.
It does not matter what the world thinks about the way your marriage is designed. It does not matter what the world's saying because they're always going to hate. If you had the most perfect marriage
Mhm.
that anybody could actually put their head around,
Mhm.
they would still hate you. So it does not matter how the nucleus of the family decides in order to do things, whether it's the woman that makes more money and the
Mhm.
husband stays home and takes care of the kids, or if it's more conventional or whatever, it doesn't matter. All that matters is what works for you inside your marriage. People are going to talk, people are
Mhm.
going to hate no matter what's going on. And it doesn't matter what people think about you. You do what works for inside your marriage. Don't try to be what the marriage next door is because that marriage, they figured things out for themselves and it works for them. You do what works for you because we all know women are highly educated now. Women
Mhm.
have degrees, women have masters and doctorates. Some men just don't have the education that women do. But if a woman finds a man that is lesser educated and she loves that man and she wants to marry that man, she wants to have children by that man, it's going to be a scenario to where she's going to make more money.
Mhm.
And we can't just say just because society doesn't respect the man because that's the way it's going to be. If she loves him and he loves her and it works for them, then forget the hell with what anybody else thinks about how you are doing it. And that's all I'm saying. We
Mhm.
can't worry about what Jane and Michael thinks about what we're doing in our marriages. All we can worry about is how it works and how it makes us better as a couple.
Mhm. I got you. I got you. I got you. Well, we wasn't talking about the world. We were talking about Jane and John. How Jane gonna cheat John if John ain't working. But I got you though. I got you
Yeah.
though. So listen. Let me add this, Sean.
Okay.
What marriage is? And marriage ain't a rehab center, right? For
Okay.
broken people. If you come into it expecting your spouse to fix your wounds, and a
Yeah.
lot of people get married because they feel like that person is going to be that saving grace for them, right? So
Yeah.
if
Yes.
you're expecting your spouse to fix your wounds, you are
Yep.
asking them to play God, and that's not love. That's spiritual abuse.
That's
That is
right.
spiritual abuse. So this is going to lead us into our next segment, which is
Okay.
managing the marriage, the system, seasons, and structure, right?
All right.
So
All right.
look, and I want everybody to really pay attention to this. Every strong marriage has structure.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. If the church has order and your business has a system, why wouldn't your marriage have one? And
Yeah.
I think people fail, Sean, because they don't have a system, something that can govern their relationship. You have to manage your relationship. That
That's
means
right.
managing, you got to have emotional intelligence. You have to manage your
Yes.
emotions,
Mm-hmm.
your money,
Yeah.
your intimacy,
Mm-hmm.
and your shared visions.
That's
You
right.
have to be a good manager. And Sean, I'm gonna give us a scripture and we're gonna talk about that.
Okay.
Habakkuk 2:2 says, write the vision and make it plain. How many of you out there is married, right? Literally sat down and wrote out your vision for your relationship with your partner?
Okay.
How many of us have done that? Because
I
as of
did not.
now, I haven't
I
even
did
done
not.
it.
I have not done that. No.
But studying this is putting me into a different posture to sit down and say, okay, there's some things that I have to implement. So, Sean, so what do you think about, managing your emotions, your money, your intimacy, and then your shared visions? Let's
Yeah.
talk about the emotions first, Sean.
Yeah. Emotions are huge because whenever you're cohabitating with another individual, it brings stress. It brings friction. I mean, you're coming into life with another human being, and we all have things about us that rub the next person the wrong way always. I mean, we're always going to have certain things. I'm going to do things that's going to make, my wife mad, and there's things that my wife do that can make me mad. And we just got to learn to fight the right fight. Some things are not meant to fight. Some things are not meant to fight. It's just what it is. It's how it is. And that's where that emotional maturity comes in, to where you can understand that everybody is different. I had a really good friend one time tell me to respect the human experience. And
Okay.
that really, really resonated in what I was thinking. We got to respect the human experience, because it is so important, because we're all human, and we all carry baggage, and we all carry things that aren't ideal for somebody else, that we've ignored our entire lives, that we've looked past because it was too hard to deal with. And if we learn to respect the emotion, if we will learn to respect the human experience, then we can have more emotional integrity. We can have more emotional maturity when it comes time to dealing with our spouses. So that's how I feel about the emotions when it comes to that.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. So now we got the money, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is one big thing about marriages, Shann. They get married on paper, they get
Mm-hmm.
married verbally, but they don't get married financially, right?
Right.
The average relationship have separate bank accounts.
Yes, a lot of
Husband
them.
don't
A lot
know
of
how
them.
much money the wife got. Wife
Yeah,
don't know how much money the husband got.
that's
Now,
right.
I do believe in your privacy. I do believe in that you still have your own independence. But
Okay.
there should come a place where there's a coming together of the money. This is just me speaking, y'all, because that's
Okay.
what we've always done. We've always intermingled our money. I mean, if you can't trust somebody
Right.
with your money, you sure can't
Yeah.
trust them to love you and live in your house and be intimate with you. But
Mm-hmm.
that's another form of separation, I believe, in a lot of marriages, is that they keep an independence because in the back of their mind, they be like, well, what if this person do this? Right. And I
Right.
understand being smart and being wise. Yeah. That's why
Mm-hmm.
you should have, I think, a great idea. Let me say it like that. Have a joint account and then have your
Mm-hmm.
own individual accounts.
Okay.
Right. But at least come
Okay.
together in something that,
Yeah.
because you come together in intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing I want to talk about, intimacy. I
Okay.
think, and she probably will agree with this. When it came to intimacy, I probably was the greediest person on the earth. And I know I
Okay.
joke around a lot, but I'm serious about this. I
Right.
I, I felt like every day, every day, I had to do something. Y'all know what I'm talking about when I say do something. I felt like it was like she couldn't get a break. She had to wave a flag like
Okay.
I surrender.
Okay.
And she wasn't singing, I surrender all. She wasn't singing that. But she was like, man, I need a break. What are you doing? Is it all
Right.
about this? And
Right.
that's because that was all I felt I had to give
Right.
when I had so much more to give of me in the relationship. But I felt
Absolutely.
like if that wasn't happening, then I didn't feel her love. But that's some
Mm-hmm.
emotional trauma from my childhood.
Absolutely. Yes, definitely. And we need
You
to
know?
look at that. Intimacy is not just sex.
Yeah.
Intimacy spans a huge area of human emotion when it comes to man and woman. That intimacy, it's trust, it's truth, it's time, it's it spans so much more than just the physical aspect. It's so much emotion that is wrapped into it. And you're right. Money is one of those audition things. Money isn't for me. Money is how I audition individuals.
Hmm.
Because if I can't trust you with money, then I can't trust you, because you are a thief, because you want to take what is mine. So money is always a good indicator as to how you're going to be able to trust another individual. And money is so important to us that if somebody steals money from you or hoards money from you,
Mm-hmm.
it's the same as if somebody breaks the trust in any other way. So if somebody, let's just say for the sake of argument that you and your wife runs up $50,000 in credit debt
Mm-hmm.
for something
I'm
just
a killer. I'm a
completely,
killer.
something completely frivolous. Okay.
Uh-huh.
You're going to feel it's, you're going to feel just like she cheated on you. It's another form of feeling like you've been cheated on because she or he has gone out there and done something so egregious and put y'all both in such a financial strain that it's like, why did you do that? Where did that come from? You're going to have the same questions as if that individual went out and cheated on you. So I agree with what you were saying as far as money there needs to be a communal type money to where y'all both come together with money.
Mm-hmm.
But you still also have to be truthful with your money. You can't just hoard your money and the other person not know what's going on. That's why I think differently. In my marriage, there is no separate accounts. It's one account, and everything goes into that one account. And we just trust that that individual is going to do right. We trust that other person is going to do right. And it has always worked. My wife and I have never had any kind of money issues. There's never been infidelity when it comes to money. That never had that situation.
Wow.
Now I'm not saying everybody has enjoyed that, in their marriage. We've just been able to enjoy that. And one big reason is because we both approach money differently. We don't even care about money. We view money as what it is. It is a tool. That's all I care about.
Wow.
That money is a hammer and a nail to put together what it is we're trying to build, and that is it. And at the end of the day, I don't care about it. She doesn't care about it. As long as there's enough to get the job done. And after that, it is what it is.
That's powerful, man. That's powerful. And man, listen, that's great. That's just like saying you just don't feel your way through marriage. You
Mhm.
plan through it. You don't just
Mhm.
respond to issues. You build systems for them. You build
Mhm.
systems for them. So what you think about that,
Yep.
Sean?
Yeah, you got to build a system. I mean, when a marriage is no different than a successful business, plain and simple. We got to look at it for what it is. Because when you're in a successful business, you're going to have a partner. You're going to have an individual that you share time and space with, you share
Mm-hmm.
money with, you share everything with when you are in a successful business. It's the same thing with a marriage. And when you are in that business, you've got to build systems and put those systems in place so those systems can drive the shared vision that you have together. And it's the same thing in a marriage. If you have a
Yeah.
healthy marriage and you are trying to go in the same direction, those systems that you plan and put in place will drive you both in the same direction and get you where you want to be together.
Wow. Wow. That's good, man. That's good. And you know what? See, we're coming from experience. We are coming from a place of learn. You grow as you learn as you grow. And I'm telling y'all, marriage is tough.
It's very
Marriage
tough.
is a tough thing, especially when finances is the problem. Man,
Hmm.
it's and I tell anybody like this, it's hard to love when should I use the word love? It is hard to be with somebody every day
Hmm. Hmm.
when you're so frustrated financially.
Yes,
And I've seen that. I've seen that in my
I
own
have.
marriage, man.
I have.
To where I had to make a decision, a tough decision. And we spoke, and Sean, you know about it. I went and worked in Baltimore for 19 months,
Hmm.
just to catch my finances up and see her happy. Women, your spouse is so much happier when they don't have to deal with finances.
Yeah,
And I think it's the kryptonite to marriages. Even though
it can be.
finances shouldn't break you up, man,
Yeah.
it's just a hard thing to go through because you can't emotionally respond to your
Hmm.
spouse in the
Hmm.
right way when you just sitting here worried about
Yeah.
this and you worried
Yeah.
about that.
Right.
It's just hard. So let's go to our next segment, Sean, which is the communicative responsibility of being married. And
Yes.
I'll let you start that off, Sean.
Yeah. I mean, communication is more than just talking. I mean, It's about translation. You've got to make sure you're speaking in a way that your spouse can receive it, plain and simple. I mean, Ephesians 4:29 says, "Let no corrupt communication proceed out your mouth,
Mm.
but what is good for building up," plain and simple. Communication is so important because you have to talk to that other individual with respect, with
Yeah.
love, with understanding, with words of affirmation, with things that's going to build that individual up, not tear that individual down. We're
Yeah.
all There's going to be situations where we're going to be angry, where there's going to be a challenge, there's going to
Hmm.
be a something that you both are rubbing friction against, trying to figure out the right direction to go, because sometimes in a marriage she wants to go that way and you want to go that way, and it's kind of
Yeah.
like, well, wait a minute, let's bring this together and let's figure out whose direction is right, because sometimes, without a doubt, the woman's direction will be right. We can't always just say, just because we're the man of the house, that our direction is the correct one,
Hmm.
because it may not be. So we have to be able to listen and understand, and allow everybody to bring something to the table and in that conversation, because those conversations are so important.
Yeah.
We've got to learn to speak to our spouses with respect. We got to respect each other and make sure that other individual understands that I believe in you. I value what you have to say. I think you have merit. I believe you have something to help build this relationship together. And that kind of communication will absolutely make sure that there is no misunderstandings, because misunderstandings, as you well know, can be a very big proponent of driving a marriage apart, because
Yeah.
somebody thinks, oh, I think so and so thinks this way, and I think she thinks this way, and all along that ain't the way I think. That's not what I've been saying at all.
Yeah.
But we get so caught up in our feelings, and we forget to communicate, and we forget to come together and have those conversations, that we just end up driving ourselves apart.
Yeah. Yeah. And man, Shann, healthy communication, man, is the key to why does
Mhm.
everybody want to call me? It is the key to fulfillment, man, in your relationship.
Yeah.
So Shann, how does healthy communication in a marriage look like? What does it look like?
It's speaking encouragement, not assumptions.
Hmm.
It's listening to understand, not just respond. And I just had that conversation with someone today, a friend. I've got a friend where I was listening, but I wasn't understanding, and I was responding too quick before I had the information.
Uh-huh.
So, and you got to do that in your marriage. You got to listen to understand, and not just to respond and try to look like the smartest person in the room. Um, you got to time your conversations, because when you say something matters just as much as what you said.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to let things cool down a little bit. Sometimes you got to let things marinate a little bit before you
Yeah.
go in, because you could have had an argument, and the other individual doesn't want to hear another word you got to say at that moment, but you are so ready to get your point across, you come busting in, and it makes matters worse. It makes the matter even worse. So
Yeah.
sometimes you've got to know when the other individual has had enough of you, and you just remove yourself from the situation, so that you can come back later and you can have that conversation in a more peaceful manner.
Yeah, because a lot of times we don't know the trauma that
Hmm.
our significant others have endured through life. Sometimes
Hmm.
they don't even share the trauma. I got trauma that I've
Right.
had that I've never shared, and I'm pretty sure all of us out here who are in relationships have
Right.
that. We got to listen. Your partner trauma is not your punchline. If
No.
you use what they shared, or when they're being vulnerable, because that's why a lot of people won't tell it, Shann, and then
Yeah.
attack them later. That's not communication. That's cruelty.
Right.
That's cruelty. So
That
let's
is
talk
cruelty.
about love versus loyalty versus faithfulness, so we can
Okay.
kind of wrap this up. you
Okay.
know
All right.
this right here is probably one of the biggest misunderstandings I see with couples, Shann. So I'm gonna
Okay.
break it down real quick. Love is
Okay.
what I feel, right?
Okay. All right.
Loyalty is who I choose.
Okay.
Faithfulness is how I act when nobody else is watching.
I
So
guess good.
I
That's
tell
good.
people this: I want my wife to be a wife when she with me. I want her to be a wife when she in the streets
I got you.
because that's when it counts. They had a song, I can't sing it. A wife I can't sing that song. See, we ain't gonna go there. See, you can love somebody and still cheat.
You can.
You can be
It
loyal to
happens.
someone in public, but unfaithful in private.
You can
If
be.
you don't have all three, love, loyalty, and faithfulness, your
Mhm.
foundation is cracked. And I'm telling you,
That's
I
right.
can speak from a cracked foundation. If you
Right.
don't have all three of those components, love, loyalty, and
Mhm.
faithfulness, listen, your marriage is on its way out. Or
It
you're
is.
on your way out to do something to take it out.
It's on the road. It's on the rocks. Absolutely.
So what you gotta say
Absolutely.
about that, Sean?
Yeah, exactly. And also, let's not forget faithfulness means being consistent in your character. When the lights are off and no one is watching, loyalty means defending your spouse in rooms they're not even in.
Mm.
Making sure that you are defending what you have with her or him. You're defending that individual. When your family wants to speak bad of an individual because they were in, like you said, they got into your fight 10 years ago and they're still
Mhm.
pissed off at your spouse over the fight. You know what I'm saying? It's like, look, we got over that. We figured that out. We've worked through that. Now, mom and dad, you can't be mad at that anymore because I'm not mad
That's
at it
right. That's
anymore.
right.
So that's what that is right there.
Yeah. So listen, we're gonna try to wrap this up. I have
Okay.
something I want to talk about called the code of conduct, Sean. The
Okay.
code
All
of
right.
conduct, right? So
Mhm.
so now I want to share something I call the code of conduct. And every
Okay.
marriage need one. It's basically an agreement between two of you who say, here's what I don't tolerate. And now you
Right.
take those five things, no more than five. You take these
Mhm.
five things that you don't tolerate and you put them up on the wall and you label them 1 through 5, Sean. That's
Mhm.
each one of them is a code. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And
Mhm.
and when you do that, this is how it goes. So let's say Sean and Tanisha had five things each that negatively impact the relationship. And so let's say Tanisha comes home and say, Sean, 1 and 4. You go to
Okay.
the board and look at 1 and 4. You're like,
Okay.
I was supposed to do this. Now, you're not even talking about it because you can't be the point guard, the forward, the referee, and the coach.
I got you.
Somebody got to coach this relationship. So the code of conduct, people, is how you can coach your relationship without any arguments. All you got to do, if you agree that this bothers this person when they put the 5 up, and then she
Mhm.
agreed that this bothered her when you put the 5 up, you
Mhm.
honor that code. And so, Sean, you may come home and say, Tanisha, 1 and 5.
Okay.
Tanisha go up there and look what 1 and 5, like, oh. And what happens is when you practice not doing these things,
Mhm.
you get good at it. Because anything you
I got you.
practice, you get good at, right?
I got you. I
So
got you.
these are the five relationship skillers that you need to have in your relationship. Because I think it will help.
Okay.
Assuming without actually asking questions is bad
Mhm.
in a relationship. Giving
Right.
silent treatment instead of talking through it because you don't have a code of conduct. It's bad
I
in a
got you.
relationship. And especially embarrassing your partner in public, Sean, instead of correcting them in private, it
Okay.
is bad for the relationship.
I got you.
Scorekeeping instead of forgiving. Yeah, you did this to me, and I did that to you. Now you keep a score. What is this, a basketball game?
I got you.
It's bad for a relationship. Withholding affection as punishment. Ladies, let me tell you, using sex as a weapon will never work. It never works. It always backfire because hurt people hurt people. So
Okay.
these things right here, Sean, they eat away at your relationship like termites in
Mhm.
wood. Silent,
Okay.
small, but devastating if left unchecked. This is why
Right.
you cannot withhold affection from your partner. And so here's how
Yep.
you fight
And that
back.
goes and that goes for men too,
Yeah.
because we view affection on the physical level. That
Uh-huh.
is super important to us without question. But affection on the woman's side, sometimes we do the same thing. We withhold that same affection as punishment. And it's that, that kiss on the neck or that hug or that greeting in the morning or whatever that. So guys, we can be just as guilty as withholding affection to our ladies as ladies can be to us.
Yeah. And based off of what I said, y'all, here's how you fight back, fellas. Here's how you fight back, ladies. You strategize. Do a weekly check-in. How did I do this week? What do you need from me? What did you love this week about our relationship? Now, don't ever go to bed angry, because I'm going to tell you, I hate that. Don't ever go to bed angry. Ephesians 4:26 says, backs that up. It says, reconnect on purpose, emotionally and physically, and give grace even when you think you're right, because sometimes the relationships matter more than being correct. Sometimes you got to lose the win.
Right.
You got to lose the win.
Absolutely. Yeah, sometimes you do have to lose a win. And that's just part of that emotional integrity we talked about, being okay with not winning all the time, to make sure that we're pushing things forward, because it's that selfishness where you always want to win. You always want to be right. Sometimes you just have to put it on the table and be like, you know what? I'm going to choose my fight today. Because when you're choosing your fight and you're moving forward, there comes a time where we grow, where we talked about growing, and there's going to be a point to where things at one time you thought were important are no longer important. And then you've moved into, well, now things that I never thought were important are actually important. And that comes into where you're choosing your fight. Because if you're always trying to hang on to what you think is right all the time, you're never going to truly grow, and you're never going to truly mature in the ways that you need to be a good husband or be a good wife.
Yeah. So Shann, you've been married 29 years. So
right.
Do you have some coaching tips for the people today?
Yeah. I mean, if you want a thriving marriage, here's what I recommend. You got to listen twice as much as you talk. And that's the 2-to-1 ratio. I'm going to listen way more than what I talk. You're going to have to schedule a monthly, what I would call, a State of the Union talk. No distractions.
I like that.
Just real conversation. And invest in your marriage like it's the most valuable asset. Because if you are married, it actually is your most valuable asset.
Wow. Listen, I got some tips too. Build your home on a spiritual routine. Pray together. Fast together. Because the Bible says some things can only be accomplished through fasting and prayer. Study together. Learn your spouse's love language and speak it daily. Even when you're exhausted and you don't feel like it, you don't be bothered, but be kind. Be kind. Marriage is your covenant, not your convenience. And so,
that's right.
We want to say this. Marriage isn't a fairy tale. It's not just a happily ever after ending. It's a fight, but it's
real
a fight for each other, not against one another. You're not just battling feelings. Listen, people, you are battling culture, pride, selfishness, and generational patterns. But if you both submit to God, walking in his grace and building your purpose, marriage won't just survive, it will thrive. And Shann, I'm gonna let you close this out, man. So we've been up here for a minute, so I'm gonna let you go and close this one out.
Yeah, and most importantly, don't let social media define what your marriage should look like. We talked about that earlier. Make it work for you. Do what works for yours. Let it be shaped by intimacy, integrity, and intentionality. Because when two people are truly submitted to God and each other, your marriage becomes more than a relationship. It actually becomes your ministry.
Sounds good coming from a minister by the name of Shann Atkinson, who won't submit to it. Submit, my brother, submit. But listen, thank y'all for joining in with us. Listen, we had some technical difficulties, but we are Mind Changers International. And listen, until next time, grace and peace.
We told y'all, we came to expose the lies and reveal the truth. We told y'all, we bring in biblical principles of factual truth. We told y'all, we came to expose the lies and reveal the truth. We told y'all. We bring in biblical principles of factual truth. We told y'all.